We start with breaking news out of Hermon this afternoon, as we now know one of the two officers shot last night has died. The man accused of shooting and killing one Hermon police officer and leaving another in critical condition has now been charged. Imagine walking down this sidewalk during one of the most busiest times of day and not knowing that there was a potential explosive sitting right over here in this flower bed. Now, one protester I spoke to said when she heard the news, she felt sad and discouraged, but she felt a little different tonight. I say that because there's been a heavy police presence right in this home behind me. I'm actually going to take a step out of the camera just so you can see what I see. Josh is going to zoom in for you. This is the home police have been outside of for several hours now. We've heard about 3 flashbangs go off. We've even heard Missouri State Highway Patrol say several times there is nowhere for you to go. You are surrounded by officers from MSHP. Come out to the front with your hands up. Democrat Lucas Kunce made it all the way here in Kansas City, and he'll be watching those results come in this evening. He'll be joined by his family members, his supporters. They can't make it out to the event. They can't come here to the Columbia Mall. How can they still be a part of this?
Yeah, there's so many ways to donate.
And don't forget your rain jacket like I did. Bad idea. Thanks for joining us, Mid-Missouri. Have a great day. They would have never imagined what was about to happen when they walked through those doors. In America this morning, we're learning more about the investigations into the second largest bank collapse in U.S. history. If you're headed out in a rush and your car picks up some weight in the back seat, you'll get a notification, something quite like this. After yesterday was cool and rainy, some warmth is moving back into mid-Missouri. I'm actually going to take a step away from the camera just so you can see what things I have packed in my car. Some of those items will include a blanket, bottle of water, charger, and dry foods. The 7th was confirmed as the shooter. Officials say the suspect was a woman who appeared to be a teen. She allegedly entered the school through a side entrance with 2 assault rifles and a handgun. Prosecutors said the officer acted in self-defense and the defense of others. When he got back to work on Monday, both bins were full of trash, but they didn't come from his business. Luckily, it is an easy fix, and it'll probably just involve you having a pair of one of these handy when you're working.
And they say this is when you start to realize if you have a business or not.
Demetrius Woods, owner of Munchie's Fish and Chicken, tells me he doesn't plan on taking the blow of inflation and doesn't anticipate raising prices for his customers.
Want fries with that bread? All righty, we'll get it right for you.
According to the USDA, price increases are going to hurt food purchased at restaurants the most. It's expected to exceed historical averages and inflation in 2021. Farm cattle prices are also expected to increase between 12.5% and 15.5% in 2022. Woods says the price to purchase meat for his food truck has nearly doubled.
To pass that on to the consumer would be totally unrealistic. So it is a hard offset. But for me, that's when the challenge comes in as an entrepreneur. How do you make working unworkable? And that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Gas prices have also hurt Woods. Right now, Missouri's gas prices are averaging anywhere between $3.74 for regular gas and $4.30 for premium.
So it has been hard for me. I get a lot of my supplies in St. Louis, Kansas City, all the way to Chicago.
And while inflation continues to hurt Woods, he says the best way he's supporting his customers is by keeping most of his prices the same.
Because we have a community-based business, so we understand our customers, we understand real life, and everybody's going through it, you know, and wonderfully it seems to be working out.
I'm right outside of Betty Hayes' home, where police and family members say is the last place Hayes was seen. Now, family members and community members are still searching for Hayes, and they say they'll stop at nothing to find her.
I was greatly concerned that somebody had abducted her, and her life was at great risk at that point in time.
I was panicked, very worried, concerned about where she could be, her safety.
It's been more than 3 months since 88-year-old Betty Hayes was last seen at her home in Monroe County. And as time goes on, Hayes' family, including her grandchildren and son, want more answers.
If anybody knew where my grandmother was, I would beg and plead that they come forward. We want to bring her home. We want to give her the justice that she deserves.
Hayes' family describes her as loving, hardworking, caring, and had compassion for her career. She was a nurse for over 35 years. She also lived in a farmhouse in Holiday, Missouri for over 60 years. The big question is, where is she? A question her family is trying to solve, but one thing they will never forget is details of the day she disappeared.
I received a phone call that she couldn't be found. I would say I was panicked.
And when Mike Hayes pulled up to his mother's home in December is when he realized there could be a lot more to his mother's disappearance.
Noticed that the storm door was open, and then also when I pulled the storm door back completely, I noticed that the inside door of the house was completely kicked in. I mean, door jamb was broke on the house.
Monroe County Sheriff's Office doesn't have any new information to share at this time, but here's what they have pieced together. Miss Hayes is about 5'2", weighs 86 pounds. She has gray hair and blue eyes, and she was last seen wearing a dark stocking hat and a dark coat. Now, a $10,000 reward is still being offered by Hayes' family. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office, along with Hayes' family and friends, are asking for your help. If you know any information that would be helpful for this investigation, please contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. You can find that by visiting our website at abc17news.com. For now, reporting in Monroe County, Kennedy Miller, ABC 17 News.
If I'd have got outside my garage, they probably would have killed me. I could have got away from them. They would have bit my legs off. I couldn't run.
Mike Howell was headed to his garage after he heard dogs barking from outside his home. Howell tells me he thought it was his son's dogs, but when he opened his garage door, 3 pit bulls he'd never seen before charged toward him.
When I walked down the steps, as I'm going slow, because I got a bad knee, I got to right here, and them dogs were right here, right on me.
Howell says he grabbed this hammer and tried his best to fight off the pit bulls, but was viciously attacked for several minutes before he was able to slowly make his way back up the steps.
When I turned to go up the steps, I think that's when he got me in the calf. And he must have got me in my knee. First time when I was there, he must have bit me in my knee.
Howell faced serious injuries to one of his legs that reportedly required 4 hours of surgery to repair. The pit bulls also broke some of Howell's fingers and bit his knees as Howell was trying to crawl up the steps.
And then I got to screaming as loud as I could, and I think it riled him up. I think it made him mad.
Now, I tried reaching out to the animal shelter to see if they could tell me what happens when an event like this occurs, but they told me I had to reach out to Jefferson City Police Department, who I have still not heard back from. Howell tells me he hopes that the animals are caught soon, so this traumatic event isn't repeated.
But there's a lot of neighborhoods where people walk their dogs, got kids. It's